Okay guys, so for today's episode, we're only gonna feature one team with 213 damage. So I didn't put as much effort right now here because I'm still too busy with Vulcan, but I feel like this is kind of worth sharing, especially that I'm trying out a new bow as well as a new set of artifacts on Cha and Jinwoo. So this is gonna be updated as we go, but I'm gonna share with you what I'm doing right now. There's a lot of new stuff, so let's begin with the run. Alright, so let's start. Okay, initial positioning really important. First slot middle, second slot right side, and left side is the third slot. But once the dragon uses the breath, they're probably gonna go to one side only. And right here we're trying to avoid going on the same arm as them because we know that Cha is already strong enough to actually solo an arm here. So we want to cut off our travel time there. And right now we are using the Radiru family's longbow. Ooh, what's that? That's a 1.9M damage, I think. Really strong. Later I'm gonna discuss this the use of this bow. Okay, I'm gonna pause this a bit because there's a mistiming there on the Heavenly Blessing. Usually we want the Heavenly Blessing ult of Min, but here we saw that Min's power gauge acquisition was late or too fast. Either late or too fast. And what we usually want is to have this ult during the head part wherein we're gonna deal all our huge damage. Okay, so just take note of that. And we need to pay attention while playing. We need to pay attention to the buffs that we're receiving and also the debuffs the dragon is receiving, and so that you would know when to use your big skills. Okay, amplifying draw plus that's 3.9M damage. It's crazy. Later I'm gonna discuss more about that bow and why that deals huge damage. So 50M at the 240 mark. That's actually pretty high for this team. So I didn't really set up this team properly because I was too busy with Vulcan. Okay, so Heavenly Blessing again, as you saw. And what we're doing here is amplifying draw, burst with the vital strike, and again another dash, amplifying draw into the bow. Bam, boom. Was that 7 million damage? I think that's 7 million damage, and another amplifying draw into a note. So that's what I was talking about. When you see that you already have the buffs and the head already has all the debuffs you need with this part right here. As you can see, there's the defense decrease. That's probably from Iron Shadow. That's 12% decrease in defense. Really important if you're not using Shadow Step on the head part. Okay, ATM 2-minute mark with A3 Cha. Pretty decent, I think. Boom! Oh my god! One hit. That's one hit. Oh no. So the problem here is that we actually can't do normal attacks. So we have to manage our mana consumption here and not to use Plum all the time. Oh my god. Did you see that, guys? So you can just keep on attacking, by the way, to get some mana during downtimes. Oops. Okay, so whenever there's a downtime, just keep on attacking to get more mana, to regen your mana. Oh my god, why did they... That was almost a shadow step on the head part. Amplifying draw. Bam! Oh my goodness. And we saw Cha's ult. Okay, so one thing that you have to know, guys, this is really important information. If you're since the hunters are AI, if their ult like Cha hits the big damage hits the arm, even if the damage exceeds the HP of the arm, that's not gonna be counted towards the points. Okay, so ideally you want to have the AI have the proper timing on their ult towards the dragon's head. If your Cha is already strong enough to actually deal more damage than either of the hand. Okay, it's an important thing. So here, 33 seconds remaining, and we're not gonna use our ult yet because we still have one more chance, and we can stack up more beast set or expert effect stacks for more attack, and we might have a proper timing with the heavenly blessing ult of Min and other debuffs as well, as well as the shadows. I actually mistimed here, as you can see, because we didn't use the ult, we now have a better damage. We will now probably have a better damage output because we have the ult. That's just a 12% or so damage. Okay, and I used the shadow hoping that I would be able to get the defense decrease debuff here over at the top part. I'm always looking there, but I was kind of nervous that it might. And with the muscle memory that I had, I was not able to wait it and casted the ult. That's a huge DPS loss. Very big DPS loss, guys. Okay, so now you see the defense decrease debuff is now there. And the dragon is dead, by the way. Wow, it's my first time to actually kill the dragon using the holy lineup. Okay, so we got around... How much was that? 213.5 million with this street. Okay guys, so we got 213M. We didn't put as much effort to this run as compared to what we are usually doing here, because I'm still too busy, because I'm still trying to figure out how to farm Vulcan more efficiently and faster, the Vulcan normal. So let's just discuss this team and the new things that I'm currently doing, especially on Jinwoo's setup. So for the skills, we're still using the same skill. We're using the light elemental damage with a 30% critical hit damage buff, and we have the vital strike as usual. So I think for all of the elements, I'm still using this because it adds additional damage to bosses and elite monsters, and that includes the dragon. Okay, and now for the blessing stones, I use Bloodlust here because we also have another DPS in our team who would benefit from the decrease, who would also benefit from the decrease in the target's defense by 7%. And I'm using Pulverize for the increased damage on the break effect. I already did the testing on the break state. You can find the video on my YouTube channel. It's the dragon head break test. I forgot the title. It's just in the recent videos. You can check it out. And we tested the vertical arts sequence explosion, and it was working here, the additional 150% damage. So just a disclaimer, I haven't tested this specific blessing stone. I just assume that it's gonna work, but I'm not sure. Okay, I just assume that it's gonna work, but I'm not sure. But what I can assure you is that this sequence explosion vertical arts was working, and this is what we are using during the water weakness dragon. Okay, and for the next one, we have Boss Layer, 8% damage increase to boss. Has the cool 8% damage increase to boss, but the cooldown of your dash will increase by 15%. So sometimes it's a pain to use this one. The damage is huge, but if you are using the amplifying draw all the time, sometimes it makes it really difficult to have those dashes in the crucial moments. But I think for Power of Distraction, I think we can manage, as long as we manage our dashes well and make sure that we take advantage of the amplifying draw every time we use the dash. So A3, again, all burst damage. Remember guys, all burst damage that you're gonna use once you dash, make sure that there's gonna be a follow-up big skill coming in for that increase in hit damage, increased critical hit chance, and increased in skill damage. Okay, and for the weapon, we are using this one. It's kind of OP. I'm not sure why it's like that, but the damage of this bow stacks, and with the flash of light, it ignores defense by 50%. So usually we're not able to get a shadow step into the dragon's head. Okay, so that's where it's really important, I believe. I believe, because remember guys, when you are using Shadow Step on the dragon, the damage boost is insane. But for this one, let's just assume that it ignores the defense. Instead of decreasing the defense, it ignores the defense. So only Jinwoo would benefit from this, but the damage will be very, very big. And it then also increases light damage for A2, and I think for the most part that's it. This bow is so OP. This bow is so OP, and it stacks. So it's like the west wind of the light element. Okay, so in order to use this, all you have to do, as you saw from our replay, we can one-shot the one arm of the dragon, and the way to do that is actually to always have your amplifying draw before using the bow. Okay, so the combo goes like this: death dance, critical hit chance, and this one amplifying draw, bam, vital strike, and amplifying draw again into the bow. So that's a really, really huge burst damage. We were able to reach around 213M, right? So for Jinwoo's stats, I am using pure strength, although in the previous episode we already mentioned that we are using precision for the dragon. But right now we have a hard content. We're doing hard content and we can't afford to reset every day. So I think we'll just keep it as it is. But for if you want to know more about the balancing that I do for stats, you can visit my previous video, although it's in Filipino language. So for this Jinwoo stats, we only have what 20k attack, but if I use my original weapon, it's at 20, it's around 23k. Okay, and I believe the attack percent here is not reflected here in the stats window yet, so probably just a tiny amount. Okay, so for the stats attack, a precision 75, you usually want to have this at 90% for power of destruction, specifically only for power of destruction where we don't have the penalty. And crit hit rate 46.6%, and crit hit damage is at 173%. I mentioned in the previous videos that I'm not a fan of increasing critical hit damage too much, but later I'm gonna show you why I did this. Okay, defense penetration is 12, 9.98, dark damage is 8.36. So now let's go to the artifacts. So the reason why my crit damage increase right now is so high is because I got lucky with this Boots of Burning Curse with a crit hit damage. Whoa, 4k. Oh my goodness. And we have attack penetration and damage increase here. And we also have a good armor already with attack with defense penetration. Oh my goodness. So for those of you guys out there, if you already have a decent artifact from the level 73 or higher with the curse, you can actually already do what I'm currently doing right now, which is to switch to 242. So ideally I want this to be 2 toughness, but I don't have a toughness set with a good stats, so I'm using my old Black Lions set. So the reason why I already shifted is because we can already get instantly 10% damage increase here from just using this 2 set, and after 100 and every second it increases by 0.1%, so 0.1% up to 100 times, so that's going to be a total of 1 minute and 40 seconds, and just enough just enough for the dragon's 2-minute mark in my current pacing and the ult. Okay, so I think this one is very useful. And also the stats. Oh my goodness, guys, the stats are so insane. This is insane. So as much as possible, you can actually already do this. So some of you might be wondering, is this better than using the 4-piece toughness set? Well, it depends, because critical hit damage is tricky. I haven't got the time yet to make the video on critical hit damage formula as well as the scaling. But overall, if you've been playing similar games with the critical hit damage mechanics, I'm sure you already know that there's gonna be a diminishing effect. Okay, the effect does not diminish. The effect itself does not diminish. The damage increase is gonna be the same, but it's not gonna be the final damage. So for example, if you have 1,000 damage without crit, if you add 100% critical damage, that's gonna be another 1,000 damage. And if you add another 100, that's gonna be an additional 1,000 damage. So the first 1,000 is actually very, very noticeable, but as you keep on piling up more critical hit damage, the visible or the final damage, the result is not gonna be as much compared to when you added critical hit damage initially from its default value. Okay, so yeah, so that's the reason. So that's the reason why. And since Jinwoo, my Jinwoo is already at 173, and we also have an A5 plum with a total of 5 stacks of 12% each. That's gonna be 60%. And since we're always using since we're always using the amplifying draw, that's gonna be another 32%. And we also have Min on our team, and a lot of things that might contribute to adding more critical hit damage. So adding more crit damage is good, it's additional damage, but I feel like there's got to be a balance on our damage multipliers. Same thing goes to defense penetration and damage increase, as well as many others. But this is important, okay? So don't go overboard on your adding crit damage. And also, just take note that if your critical hit damage is already very high, doesn't matter if you add more critical hit damage value here. The overall additional percentage here is gonna be less and less as you add more. Okay, you can test that. You can remove all your accessories. I'm not gonna remove all my accessories for this video. I want to, but I only have 151k gold right now, and we don't have any budget to buy more gold. So, but yeah, you can test this out. You remove all your accessories, add one accessory with probably +2 or +1 crit hit damage, then wear all your crit hit damage, then compare it by adding the last piece, the same thing you added. So you're gonna see that the overall value is not gonna be as much as when you added it initially. So there are two things, diminishing here from the raw critical hit damage and diminishing visible final damage output. All right, so I think that's gonna be enough for Jinwoo. Again, okay, so for those who are new here, Bistet still king of long battles because it stacks a lot of attack as you fight. Dragon is 4 minutes, Vulcan normal and easy is 5 minutes. So I highly recommend this, but you have to crit. So penalty maps might have difficulties dealing critical damage to stack the Bisset, but overall I think it's safe. As long as you have Plum, you're not gonna have to worry about dealing a secured critical. It's not guaranteed, but it's a really high chance of dealing crit damage. Okay, so now for the hunters. We have Cha and A3 Cha and A5 weapon. Hopefully I can get this to A5 with the custom banner. So I also switched already to the two-piece set, and this is actually my ideal for Jinwoo. 2 toughness for hit rate because I like playing in hard content. You can browse my previous videos, especially how I beat Vulcan normal with 350k total power. I have that in my channel. So this is my ideal setup for now. 2 toughness for critical hit rate, and then an accumulating damage increase, guaranteed damage increase. And take note, Chahe-in also has, since we already discussed the critical hit damage, Chahe-in also has a lot of critical hit damage. And my gears all have a lot of hit damage, but she also gets more from her skills and weapon. Okay, so I think there's gonna be too much crit damage on Chae-in, and we have to balance it out with other multipliers. So it's kind of tricky. The math part there is kind of tricky, so I sometimes just use my basic calculations there. So to see whether or not it's gonna be better in terms of the final damage output, and considering that there is also a critical hit rate RNG as well. So the build is still bad at 42.9%, but I feel like it's okay since we also have Min on our team there. Attack is 15.6k, so overall yield I think it's gonna be better than my previous toughness, because my previous toughness set is like trash. Okay, well, this is also semi-trash, but I only use this because I want to make my farming on Vulcan normal so much easier. So that's why I added try to enhance it to 20. But I don't recommend this for totally free-to-play players. Okay, now just go for +15, and because +15 now, removing +15 gears now is free. Okay, so we also have a good one here, attack damage increase. So all of my DPSs now are gonna do this for long battle content. Vulcan normal, as well as Hour of Destruction, 4 minutes and 5 minutes. So we're gonna be able to benefit a lot from this set. And 8-piece set, that's too far. That's still too far away. I don't think we're gonna have that anytime soon, not unless they have a new updates. So still using beast set here again for accumulated attack percent damage. That's why she deals a lot of damage there in the dragon. And for our min, I'm only using this one. Okay, so if you compare my setup right now from my previous videos, I'm kind of tight on gold right now, so that's why I try to avoid switching gears. But ideally, what I do here is that I use this on Saw because it has higher stats, and the original teammate of these two is Saw for the Guardian set effect to buff Cha, Heiin, and as well as for the Guardian for two things: to buff Cha with the Guardian set effect, as well as to shield Cha so that she's not gonna get thrown away, knocked down, or airborne with Saw's shield. Okay, so that's the original team composition. I didn't do that right now because I don't have gold anymore. It's 150k left. So what I did instead is that I just use this. This is what I was using in Vulcan. And since Emma is free right now, I only removed my Guardian set on Maylin and transferred it to Emma. Okay, but it doesn't work there. I think for the party, I think hold on. Yeah, I think the hit absorption effect of Emma only works on when she's already A3. Okay, so she gets. I'm not sure if it works on Guardian set, so it doesn't help. But overall, it really doesn't help. I just put that for stats and just to kind of make this content. But But again, my ideal setup right now is to use Saw here to buff Cha with Guardian set to buff Cha with shield so that she can continuously deal damage and with additional damage as well. But sometimes we try out other things, but it really depends on a case-to-case basis. But it's not. But Emma is not too bad because she also provides penetration, I believe, with hit emission. So I think that's not too bad, right? To team members, yeah. Yeah, I see it. I see it when we're doing the dragon. So the weapon here is just I borrowed it from Saw, and my Emma is really a mess right now. She's not my main. She's not my main. Just a temporary character for Power of Destruction purposes. So right now Emma is at 35k HP, crit rate, crit heal, hit damage. So I don't really care much about her, but her gears are already good. With there we have fire damage, executioner, HP, penetration, crit damage. Okay. That's just pure HP, crit rate, crit damage increase, things like those, pretty standard. So, and for my min, so if you haven't watched my video again, just a quick recap. We don't use we normally don't use outstanding connection in cases wherein there's no tag in tag out mechanics. So concentration of firepower, I think it's the best one to decrease the cooldown. But again, guys, here's a big problem for this team setup. If you increase the cooldown, sometimes the ult timing is gonna be messed up. So you gotta keep changing. If you want to really optimize your damage, you have to play along the cooldown. You record the video and watch your video when he is casting his ult, because that plays a huge part in the overall damage output, because you want to release all your burst, your ult, your big skills, etc. on the head with all the debuff, along with the heavenly blessing ult of Min Byung-gu. Okay, so the timing might get messed up by cooldown reduction mechanics like this one or the destroyer set, but can also be fixed by those as well. And also this one also plays a part there, because the faster he can because the faster he can fill the power gauge, he will be able to cast the ult. So sometimes we remove this, sometimes we don't. So for this particular run, we don't really care because I don't have time. I need to finish my Vulcan runs. So yeah, so that's it for this team. And if you have questions, just let me know in the comment section if you have real reactions. And if you like this content, make sure that you leave a like and make sure you subscribe, because there's gonna be more of this. And share it to your friends if you think this is gonna be able to help them. Maybe it's gonna give them some ideas. Okay, I'm gonna go for run number 2, but I'm not gonna be discussing that. Once we're able to get a water dragon, we're gonna try the water element lineup. Okay, alright, so that's it for now. See you on the next episode.